Thank you so very much. Today, at the City Club of Cleveland, we have been listening to a special forum featuring Richard K. Davis, Chairman, President, and CEO of U.S. Bank Corporation. We will return to our speaker momentarily for our traditional City Club questions. Please formulate questions for our speaker now, and I remind you that they should be brief and to the point. Members and guests alike are welcome to attend all City Club forums and to ask questions of our speaker. Please visit our website at cityclub.org for a full schedule of upcoming programs. We hope that today's guests will join the City Club and become active in our ongoing civic dialogue. This Friday, July 30, Mr. Robert Frost, Chairman of the Cuyahoga County Republican Party, will discuss a conservative approach to reform. On Tuesday, August 3, the City Club will host a panel discussion entitled Growing Cleveland, Market Gardens, Urban Farms, and Economic Development. And on Friday, August 6, the City Club welcomes Dr. Gordon Gee, President of The Ohio State University. For more information about these or other programs, or to make a reservation, please refer to the back of your program. To order a DVD of today's program, please call the City Club at 888-223-6786 or 216-621-0082. Today we are pleased to welcome guests at tables hosted by Bonnie Speed, Brown Gibbons Lang & Company, Forest City, Honloser and Parks, the Oswald Companies, Primus, Scotto Minotti & Company, Smart Business Network, Squire Sanders & Dempsey, Ulmer & Byrne, and U.S. Bank. Thank you for joining us today. Now we return to our speaker for our traditional Q&A period. We welcome questions from everyone, including our guests. Holding the microphones today are City Club Development Assistant Lucille Barbati and Development Director Cheryl Heldon. Our first question, please. Yeah, that's you.
That's me. I'll give you the hard ones.
Hey, Richard, could you comment on the financial reform legislation that was recently passed?
Thank you, Bob. From one banker to another, it's a bit disappointing, actually, that we didn't get more accomplished in the financial reform, but it's a good start. For those of you who don't follow it that closely, you certainly know about it, that last week the President signed into law the financial regulatory reform that the Congress pushed through a couple of weeks ago. And I'm happy to report that it is going to fix some of the concerns that we all have as citizens, to first account for the fact that companies that are too big to fail can no longer be too big to fail. The companies that are systemically important or that large enough to infect the rest of the community will be overseen more closely, will be required to have higher levels of capital and liquidity solutions, and will not find themselves falling into harm's way without a plenty of notice period and the right people to oversee it. That was a good part of this. Sadly, the other part, though, is that there's a lot of other prohibitions that will simply require the banks to respond to some new regulatory actions, which are not necessarily bad, except that they will serve to stem some of the recovery inputs that we could involve ourselves with as banks. What I'll here to tell you is I'm actually quite pleased to say in front of all of you how sorry I am as one of America's bankers for having created part of this downturn that created part of this recession. It was global. It wasn't domestic. It was everywhere. It wasn't just here. It wasn't everybody, but as an industry, we need to own up to that, and we did some things that were wrong. As an industry, we're going to fix that. My current role as the Financial Services Roundtable Chairman is to bring back the dialogue to the American people and to start to rebuild your trust as an industry. You would all say to us, I actually love my banker, I like my bank, and I hate the industry. And you'd be right to say that because you've been given so much information that puts us in the center of the problem. And so I'm going to say to you, we're going to fix that. And we're going to work hard, and Bob, you and I can help with that right up here in this community. But it will take more than just the financial reform to give you the confidence you need that this problem could never happen again. It's a global solution which is forthcoming at the end of the year with the G20 nations. A lot of details, but they're going to be building a few more parameters. And it will be what happens in the next couple of years because the regulations you heard about, there are 208 laws yet to be written to fill in the gaps on the regulations. So we'll look forward to that, and we'll be a relevant partner. But for that, I say we're just starting, and it's a good beginning.
We loved your talk. Thank you. One simple question. Are you a big basketball fan?
I am a big basketball fan. I'm not tall enough to be a good basketball player, but I really like it. I'll tell you why. Because it's the one sport where you go offense, defense in the same couple of seconds. And so you don't have the permission of resetting your team, resetting your plays. You've literally got to put all the empowerment into the training and the coaching and the belief you've given those 5 players to be able to do what you need them to do at the right moment without being on the field to do it with them or the court. So I love that part. I was a little sensitive about the whole basketball thing up here, but I won't bring it up.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Davis. Sure. And I have to say I'm somewhat surprised at the inspiration that
you expect so little from a banker. Is that what you mean?
Happens
all the time.
After I stopped imagining myself playing basketball,
good.
I do wonder how you translate a lot of what you spoke about to your employees and to your company as well as to the community that you live in, and how you instill that into your employees to then transfer that to the community.
Thanks, Carrie. That's a good question. The employees, many of them are here today, so they can wrap me out if I'm making this up. But we actually believe that we're not in the business of banking. We actually believe we're in the business of dreams. And I know that sounds a little corny, and the music isn't playing at the right moment. But I mean, think about it. One of the things you love and hate about banks is that we have the ability to change the future. And one of the things that caused this downturn is that in some cases, some of the companies were not responsible in using that leverage. But think about it. We have a chance to change people's futures. And when they come to us and say, I have an opportunity, I have a dream, can you help me? The answer is yes, I'm vested with that authority. That's what we do. We don't make it, build it, break it, paint it, fix it. We just get behind those of you who do. So I think we inspire ourselves to a higher calling, and sometimes we fail miserably at doing a good job of that, and I know that. But if everybody comes to work with the belief that they can change their part of the world, a part of a company that will get behind them and support them, I think we're making progress. In the community, as we spoke a minute ago, I said this to Sandy, I'm that guy who's coming and I'm burning platforms everywhere. And I'm not actually that unpopular for it, but I'm trying to get people together to say, look, everything's good, but it could be so much better, or it's good now, but what if it's not great later? Let's create some issues and some sense of urgency. And I think, if nothing else, to be a catalyst in bringing people to discuss and talk about that, maybe that's the best role I have, because I'm certainly not solving anything myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Richard, thank you. Who are your role models?
Wow, that's a hard one, because God, you're going to hate me for this answer. I don't have one. And I know that sounds terrible. I love my mom and dad. They're long gone. They died a long time ago. And I didn't have anybody that, sadly, in my life that I could really look up to in one person. So I've collected in my own mind a sense of character and integrity and transparency and honesty. And for me, it's just simply a matter of kind of learning as I go. When you mentioned I went to school at night, 8 years at night, so I never enjoyed any day school opportunities. And so I kind of had the missed college life that I might otherwise have sought. But along the way, I had to figure out exactly what was important, and that probably shaped my character more than any one person. Along the way, I'm inspired by coaches, and I'm not that big on sports alone, but I like the fact that coaches have this indelible belief and knowledge that they can't do it. They have to inspire others too. And as a leader, a good leader really knows they can't do it. The micromanagers fail. The leaders are the ones who say, I can get others to want to do it. And if they want to do it the way that makes sense that for them and for the company, you've got a positive outcome. So I don't have one. And I mean you. I meant you. Because I do respect you a great deal. But just for me, it's not a question I've never been able to answer. Loser, huh? What a loser. I don't have a role model.
Over here.
Yes.